Hello, 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 everybody. Let's
Hello,
see.
everyone.
There's no one here, right? I
Have a
have,
granny. Don't pop it. I didn't
yeah,
know that.
I have zero up there. Oh, there's one. Hi, Journey. I'm assuming it's Journey. Hi, Journey.
Yep,
We're
Journey's here. Hi, Journey.
gonna wait a few minutes.
Yeah,
Uh,
people come in, they do their thing.
I advertise, you know, I think a lot for this, and plus, I was on Eric's
Yeah,
live stream last night, and I announced it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Knife Hoarder, um,
Oh, knife hoarder. All right. I
yeah,
like knife
one
hoarder.
night he said, anybody that has a channel, go ahead and and write it in the comments. So I advertised it there.
Nice,
So
nice. Knife
we'll
hoarder's cool.
see. We'll see. Yeah. I just happened upon him. Gosh, it was before everybody else knew who he was, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anyone from our community, going him. And I was emailing him because I thought it was this big secret that Tommy wasn't his real name. And so I thought I was finding out all this new information that, nobody knew. But it turns out there's a few that knew it. And someone said, well, yeah, he's told us Tommy's not his real name. So anyway,
Yeah, I found
so,
knife hoarder through Thomas Moo Anderson. The, yeah.
I don't care for him. Hi, Eric Levitt.
I mean, he seems all right. He's nice to me all the time. So.
Yeah.
I tried to be so neutral in this whole thing. I really, really did. And then I noticed, like if all of a sudden someone decides they don't like you, what you got to, you can't take away my freedom of speech.
Right. You're
not allowed to do that.
Miss Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Welcome.
Oh, hi, Dawn. Okay, Eric. Hey, Eric. Eric's here.
Yeah, I said
nice. I love Eric. He's great. Eric's doing really good.
We're gonna just wait a couple more minutes if y'all don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And if anybody, I don't have a mod. If anybody wants me to make them a mod, I'll do it right now. But we might not even need one, but
yeah, I mean, we can monitor the
control, and I don't know, but I'm bad at watching the chat and doing something else. You'll be a mod, Eric. Okay, now I have to figure out how to do that. And
so you gotta tap his name.
His
and
name.
It should give you the option.
Oh. Oops! What am I doing? What's going on? Why isn't it?
Everything's so confusing.
Why isn't it letting me? That's weird.
You should just have to tap his name to give you the option to mod him up.
Right. It's bringing it up. Let's see. Oh, brother. Oh, I see.
Sorry, do you mind if I smoke while we talk?
No, I smoke also. Okay,
they start blah, 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 when you're smoking on them. Like, come on.
I did the 3 dots. It says delete comment.
See if it modded him up. Eric, did that mod you up?
No, I mean, I don't know how to do it. It says delete user in timeout or ban user. Hey, Eric, if we need one, I'll figure it out. But I'm so technology challenged.
I know, me too. I looked at this laptop out that they gave me, and I was like, what do you want me to do with this thing? I have no idea.
Right.
It sat in a box for months, and then I finally opened it up.
Right. I think I did it one time before.
Oh, you might have to do it on YouTube, not on StreamYard, Eric said.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. Sure. Thank you, Eric.
I think I could do it on my someone in I did it on my phone one time, but
Yeah, I have
we'll
too.
just wait until in case
If we see anything odd, we'll just
right.
point it out.
Y'all can take care of them. Y'all know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay,
That seems
well,
nice. We got Dawn in here. Awesome.
I know. I was with Miss Dawn and her daughter on the cruise.
Oh,
We all went on a SPTV kind of SPTV cruise this past September.
very nice.
A lot of us got to meet each other. Yeah,
That's awesome.
It was an 8-day long cruise. It was wonderful.
Wow, I bet. I bet that must have been nice. Where'd you go? From where to where?
We went to where'd we go, Don? I only got off the boat, I think, real quick twice because I'm in a wheelchair, so
Right.
We went to
we were cruising
I can't in the Caribbean. No.
That's nice. Yeah, I haven't done a live stream in a while. We had some things go on and I stopped, and I was giving some advice to take down all my videos and just start over. So that's my plan for my channel now. I'm going to start over and do some different things anyways. I mean, I was mostly focused on, of course, Long Island, because this is my home.
Right.
And we have so many things happen here, sometimes all at once, that
when it rains, it pours.
You're not kidding. Especially what happened yesterday morning was horrendous for us. Like I said, it's a huge loss for Long Island right now.
Wow.
And there are some things I did put up on the posts. People are flooding them with donations, and it's. I even said I'm not asking for donations personal. They're not personal. They're for them. Right. So the sites are right there. They're all on Facebook. You donate to the rescue. You're not personally donating to me, and I don't want it anyway. I'm on the standby right now. We're all on standby right now as of right now. I might be able. I'm definitely able to take 2 fosters in, so we do have some that made it out.
She's talking about kitty cats, you guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. We weren't live at that time. Yeah, we had a big thing happen here on Long Island yesterday morning. A cat sanctuary pretty much burnt to the ground. And the man that ran this sanctuary, Chris, he was a great guy. He devoted his life and every penny he had. He never took anything for himself. Everything was for the animals. The whole thing. He was targeted by people. It's under investigation right now because they have not yet ruled out arson.
That's so sad.
There were a few comments that were in like the Facebook groups and so forth that that's one way to get rid of all the ferals,
Oh wow!
Like people were really saying, and he was targeted. He had a YouTube channel as well. It's called Happy Cat Sanctuary, and you can watch his videos where he says, he was targeted.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a big loss for us right now, and I'm hopeful to take in 2. They'll have my entire room to themselves while they acclimate to my cats. Right. I have my own.
Right, right. Your babies.
Yeah, so we're gonna we'll see. I'm waiting for the particular rescue I've actually rescued cats from, my own. So I'm sure she'll be like, "Oh yeah, great. I'll be over with 2." Yeah. They have to be medically cleared first. A couple of them are in some pretty bad shape.
Oh wow!
Yeah, a lot of them, like from last I read anything, over 100 of them passed in the fire.
Oh my gosh!
He was going in and out, saving the ones that were inside, pulling them out. He went in 1/3 time and never came back out.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's terrible.
It was yeah. So.
Well,
when it rains, it pours here. It sure does.
Hi, Kim. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Kim.
We were waiting for people to get here. So there's 8 of us. That's good.
Okay.
And I'm just going to let Minnie start. What do you have? 7514. I never know what to call you.
That's all right.
Minnie's good.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, I always had the numbers in there. When I pressed on join, it was just there. I was like, okay,
right.
Whatever.
Kim D in the chat was on our cruise also. So there's 3 of us.
Very cool. Very cool.
Anyway, yeah, it was a blast. So, Miss Minnie, and
well, let me begin my story. So, I was born here in Smithtown, Long Island, New York. We moved to Florida. When I was about 5 years old, we settled in Clearwater. That was in 1980. So when we moved to Clearwater, we Church Scientology was there, but we didn't know what they were. We weren't familiar with it. We didn't know anything about it.
Wow.
As years went by, we lived in Hacienda Gardens which is in Clearwater. We lived there for about, I want to say 3 years.
And those are apartments, right?
Yes, it's an apartment complex. It's on Saturn Street.
I wasn't sure if it was a hotel or like.
No, it was an apartment complex.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When you go down Saturn Street in Clearwater, you got Hacienda Gardens. Across the street is baseball fields. When I was young, I'm pretty sure last time I was there, it was still the same. My nephew was down there recently. He said the ball fields are still there.
Oh, wow.
And the junior high school was there, the elementary school. And so when we went down there about 3 years, when I was in about 3rd grade, my father left us down in Florida. He came here to New York to work and to live and basically left us.
Wow. So, and what, you and your mother, and you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older brother.
Oh, just the 3 of you?
Yeah, it was just the 3 of us. And from what I'd remembered, we had some new people showing up in the pool area. We had a swimming pool in Hacienda Gardens. And there were new people coming in. And back then in the 80s, you just kind of left your kid at the pool because there was always someone there to watch them. It didn't matter, and it was a pretty big community. There were a lot of people around, so you were fine.
In the summer, you spend your whole your days there,
Yeah, we spent every day outside. I vaguely remember being indoors. Then, we were outside all the time.
Right.
And I had started in 96. We had already come back at this point. I had started remembering things, like having kind of flashbacks, things that I'd remembered in the complex. I have been asked by like the Holy Rogue. I don't know if you know of the Holy Rogue.
Yeah.
Matt, he had asked me if I remembered who these people were that I was essayed by Scientologists.
Okay, now wait. So you moved there when you were 5 and you stayed there till when? I'm sorry.
We didn't completely leave Clearwater until I was 11. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I was 12. Going on 13.
But your dad left you before
My dad left us when I was in like the 3rd grade. So I was roughly about 8 years old.
Okay.
So he left us down there. And in that time frame, I remember my mother saying things like, we might not be able to live here. We might not be able to afford to. We're going to have to move. We might have to go. It was a battle. And being a little kid and having to deal with that was a pain. And, it wasn't the greatest. Right. So now, it was
how long were y'all at the Hacienda?
We lived in Hacienda from 1980 to 1986. So we lived there for 6 years.
But you stayed in Clearwater.
Then we moved up onto US 19, where there was an apartment complex called Stratford Village. I don't know if it's the same name now,
Was that a lot of Scientologists also, or more?
No, that wasn't owned by them yet at that point.
Oh, okay.
And then we moved from that complex, we moved over to what back then was called Oak Winds. I believe now it's called Bay Winds. It's another apartment complex further down on Druid, further down Drew Street into Druid.
I don't know the streets.
Yeah, I know the streets. I remember the place like the back of my hand, pretty much. And when we started, like back then when we were still there at Hacienda Gardens, we were my mother was basically preparing us to possibly have to leave. Then we didn't have to all of a sudden. We stayed there. We stayed. We were in a 2-bedroom apartment. My brother and I shared a room. And I had remembered and started remembering things in 96, what had happened to me. And I remember where the apartments were that I was attacked in.
Okay, so let me back up just for a minute. So you left, what year did y'all leave? I'm sorry. You left
We left in 89.
Okay.
88. I'm sorry, 88 we left. We completely left Florida in 88.
Back to New York.
Yes, we came back here to New York to live.
Okay. Well, now when you were in Clearwater, do you remember like playing with Scientology kids? Or
here's a good one for you. There was a kid in our neighborhood. His name was Nicky. I'll never forget this kid as long as I live. We used to ask questions. We were children. So we used to wonder, how come Nicky doesn't go to our school? Right. And his mother stated to us that he went to a private military academy.
Oh.
And when it all came crumbling down, basically, that Scientology bought the complex, they owned it, they were now taking it over. And if you were not a member, you had to get out. They kicked families with children out into the street. That's what they did.
Did y'all know, how long did it take y'all, or maybe your parents, you might not know the answer, but how long before like y'all realized that this was not really a religion, or they weren't what they said they were, like?
What had happened was another resident in the neighborhood that was also being evicted. They stuck a note on, back then that's how they did things. They stuck a note on your door stating, hey, you're evicted, get out. Bottom line, no warning, no nothing.
Yeah.
There were people in the neighborhood that, from what I do remember, were talking to like our parents and telling my parents that what this was. Because at this point, my father had come back.
Oh.
My father had left us down there for about 1.5 years. And then when he came back, we moved from the 2-bedroom apartment into a 3-bedroom apartment, which was a whole nother building. But we were still in Hacienda Gardens. Just needed more space. We were getting bigger.
Right.
Boy and a girl can't share a room together anymore.
Right.
So we moved into a larger apartment. We lived in that one particular one for about 1 year. And that's when that's when the whole thing went down. But when I started to remember what had happened to me in these particular apartments, basically I had put 2 and 2 together, that I was the reason we were able to stay. For some reason, Scientology wanted me, and I could never figure it out. Even in 90, now wait, it gets better, because I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I was a bad kid, bad behavior. You couldn't control me. I was just, leave me alone.
What do you mean you were a bad kid?
When I was a mischievous kid. I liked to do things. I wanted to play, and
you were just busy. You were a busy kid.
I was too busy for the shit. I was a kid, I wanted to just do my own thing and be my own person, and I was happy that way. I was a tomboy. I climbed the trees, swimming in the lakes, doing the thing, And so when I started to remember in 96 what had really happened to me, it built up like a lot of anger and a lot of frustration, and also a lot of confusion. Is this true? Did this really, is this really happen? You know what I mean? So I went back.
How old were you in 96?
22.
Okay. So I was old enough to figure out.
Yeah. I was born in 75, so I'm 50 now. But I went back down to Clearwater, straight back down. Took a first class flight from New York.
As an adult.
Exactly. Now, when I got down there, I really didn't know much what was going on. Social media was not like it is now, of course. So I was a little like, what am I going to run into? Am I going to find any of my old friends from school or, but I did remember my mother saying to us, certain kids in the neighborhood, we were no longer allowed to talk to and that we would never, ever, ever see them again.
Oh.
So when I started to remember that, I was like, wow, that's true. So I remember my mother saying that as we were literally driving out. I'd be like, well, what about this one? My brother too. What about so-and-so? Nope, you can't talk to them. You will never see them again. And we were like, what the hell did they do? Go to jail? We didn't know. We were kids.
Right.
So we did hear some stuff about them. Like my parents would really drill into us, don't talk to no one while we were still living there. Don't talk to no one. Don't look them in the eye. They'll hypnotize you. They'll brainwash you. They'll make you believe their beliefs. Like we were told this as children. So basically,
and that must have been scary.
That's exactly it was, especially for a little kid. Like you got your parents sitting there telling, "Don't you talk to them? Don't talk to nobody." Well, who the hell am I going to go do outside then? Nothing to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do now. So like I said, so as I went back to Clearwater, when I was walking around down in like by Fort Harris, and I ain't gonna lie, my intentions on going down there back in 1996 were not good because I was built up with so much anger over what I had been through.
What were you thinking? Like, what were you there to like seek revenge or confront somebody or
confront someone, basically?
Oh, okay.
I wanted answers. Put it that way. I wanted answers, and my answers.
You knew who you were looking for specifically. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So as I'm walking around, hanging around in Clearwater in '96, I found a place called the Serenity Club. It was at AA, NA meetings, all kinds of stuff, and I was like, "Oh, that's right up my alley. We have this in New York. This is great." So I would go there, hang out. It was literally the next block over. Like if you went out from the Serenity Club, made a left and went to the right, you were on Fort Harris. We were right there by the hotel. As I'm over there, I see these same faces that I remember. I recognized when I was a kid.
Wow.
And they were smirking at me, like with a smile on their face and talking to me. And I was just like, yeah, you're going to stay over there because I'm older. I'm not a little kid anymore.
Wow.
I'm an adult.
They talked to you? They actually talked to you?
A lot of them did, to be honest. Some of them, when I was walking up and down Fort Harris Street, that's why when Dusty and everybody does live streams out there, I'm like, wow, when I was there in 96, I would see these people walking up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down all day, all night. I thought they were vampires. I was like, what are these? Are they vampires up all day, all night?
Right.
And I'm like,
I didn't understand. Yeah.
It was very confusing.
Right.
So I had been approached by some people who were not in Scientology, and they would tell me, and then I would question, of course, their uniform. And I'd be like, well, what is this? Is this the Navy or something? They'd be like, no, it's a fake Navy. It's not real. Don't even go get involved. And same things like my mother would tell, my parents told us when we were kids. So I was like, wow, okay. It is true. What she was saying to us was definitely true.
Right.
So I would contact, friends and family up here in New York while I was down there. And the one woman that I had met at the Serenity Club now, she was active in the AA meetings and so forth. She had a little boy. His name was Sadie. Her name was Linda. So Sadie's got to be now in his 30s, if he's even still alive, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. She'd come up to me and she was listening to some of the things I was saying about how, because I was looking for a job. I was considering making a life for myself down there. I was considering it. And I was like, all right, so I'm looking for a job. I landed a couple of jobs. Then she approached me and she said, listen, I just bought a house. I can't afford to pay you, but I can give you room and board. Now, 22 years old, room and board job. Hey, that's great. That's perfect.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
That's huge. You know what I mean? So I jumped on it and I noticed a little bit of odd things about her son. And it was just, just certain things about him. Not that I disliked the kid. He was just a little boy. He was an innocent little child. Just something wasn't right. I just felt like something was wrong with him. So then all of a sudden he's coming around with these khaki shorts, this blue shirt, and dark navy blue, like slip-on shoes. Same uniforms I seen all the other little kids running up and down North Fort Harris Street.
Oh, wow.
So now she really didn't give me she brought me, all right, we're just going to go into this. So, because I couldn't figure this woman out. I couldn't really figure out if she was a Scientologist or she couldn't be one, but her son could be, or she was an act. Seemed to me more so she was a public Scientologist.
She didn't come out and tell you she was a Scientologist.
No, she didn't bluntly tell me nothing. Couple of the dudes that she had at the house were doing like studying. They were trying to show me how things like in AA and NA, where you got the steps and the traditions, how it's so similar to Scientology. And I was just
God.
Okay, I see where this conversation's going. And I do remember there was very little bit food in the house. She would come back with a couple of things, just like a sandwich or two for me and the kid. And yeah, so it was kind of like
for like long hours.
Yeah, I would be working in that house.
You're the babysitter.
I would also babysit too. I babysat more kids than just her son. She would bring over a couple of them, and they all had that same blue shirt with the khaki pants or shorts. And some of them would ask me some very odd questions, and I would be like, "No, why don't you just go outside and play? And there's tons of toys around here. Go do your thing." And they didn't even know what the hell I was talking about.
Oh, wow.
I was like, here, kick the ball. Here you go. Kick it across. You got a whole yard back here. You know me? I'm like, hey, go play. Shit, have fun. Like my little cousins. Yeah, I used to babysit them. Go ahead, go play. Go do your thing. It was almost like they had no idea what this was. So I didn't appreciate some of the little children's questions that they asked me. I just took it very odd, but I also just ignored it because they were kids. You don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
So one little boy asked me if I wanted to sleep with him. I was like, no. Like, no.
Wow.
No, I'm not like that. Sorry, kid. You can go over there, wherever, And she would have them they would stay over. Some of them stayed for like 2-3 days. So I don't know what the issue was with flag or whatever.
Yeah.
At that time, but
that's how they do things.
Yeah.
That's how
they stayed in the damn room. I had the other room all by myself. I literally would lock myself in the room because I was like, yeah, I don't want your kids coming and crawling in here. Leave me alone. Right. Stay away. So the one day she approached me, and I was finishing up doing some painting in the house, and she said, hey, listen, we got this movie we're gonna go see, and I want you to come. I was like, okay, cool. Not thinking anything. I'm thinking we're going to see, something on like Broadway type thing.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
Right.
It was right across the street from the Fort Harris. It was outside, like big projector. Now I have ADHD, so my ADHD back then was real bad. I wanted to go do something else. I was not into this movie. So I was sitting there, I was trying to pay attention, and she kept saying, just pay attention. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And after the movie was over, I was bombarded by these people. What did you think of the movie? How was it? Like, whoa, this is a lot right now.
Oh, wow.
Then she grabs me by my arm. She goes, come on, we have to go get Sadie. And I was like, okay. We went in the Fort Harris. I've been in that building. I've been in there. I was inside. So When Sadie came out of the one room, I remember hearing a lot of yelling, screaming, a lot of young kids screaming. And the look on his face just told me the entire story.
Oh, wow.
I could just tell because I know what it felt like to be a kid who was hurt. So I could tell right away. I was like, wow, something happened to this kid in here. And then I'm like, what are all these kids screaming about? What the hell is going on in here? I just got this really bad, eerie feeling, almost like there was a ghost standing behind me. You know what I'm saying? Like I got this real creepy feeling.
Right.
I recognized somebody else that was from the meetings. He was there also. And I asked him for a cigarette. I was like, hey, yo, you got a cigarette? He's like, yeah, sure. I was like, all right. And they kept asking me, oh, where you going? I was like, oh, I'm just going to go smoke a cigarette. And they were like, okay, come back. And like demanding almost like, okay, you come after you're done, you come back in here. Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. Man, I swear to God, Kelly, I ran so fast.
Oh, wow.
You saw smoke coming out of the back of my feet.
It was that scary, huh?
I was petrified. I didn't even smoke a cigarette. I was holding it in my hand. I was running.
Wow.
Went back to the Serenity Club. Thank the good Lord my buddy Mike was there. And he said, I told him what had happened, and they were like, do you want to be in there? I was like, no, man, I don't want no part of this. I want no part of that shit. He's like, all right. I had to sneak out of the back of the Serenity Club, hide in the back for about an hour until I heard the car beep once. One light beep told me I have to get out that back door. So I flew out the back door. They threw me in the car. We went to his apartment. I stayed there for 3 days.
Oh, wow.
And they got me out of Florida. We drove out of Florida, and I had to hide in the back of the car. I remember them telling me, you got to get down. And I couldn't figure out why. I was like, the fuck do I? Because in my head, I'm like, this is a free country. Do what I want. Nobody should be trying to,
You didn't know you were going to get fair gamed, huh?
That was exactly what was going to happen to me. I was going to get either that or they wanted me in there so badly. They were like basically demanding me to come back. Like I was a part of this. And whoa, no.
Wow.
No way.
So you left Florida. Did you ever find that person or people that hurt you?
I'd seen them down there in Clearwater. At the time,
you didn't confront them or anything?
No, I think what had happened to me when I'd seen them face to face, I kind of froze in a way. Like all of a sudden, I was like, didn't know what to say.
Oh yeah, that would be scary for me.
Yeah, it really was. It was very frightening because I knew who they were. I knew exactly who they were.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not like that's a face I'll never forget. I mean, if they're older now, it's years now, but.
Now, did your parents know what happened or?
I don't think they know exactly what happened. I honestly feel in my heart that I feel like my mother was at a very low point in her life and they were trying to sucker her in.
Yeah.
And using me as the way to get her in, so to speak.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the only thing that I can figure out as I know now that I'm older, more about Scientology and the things that, and this, that. So in the midst of us having to leave Hacienda Gardens, my mother, of course, she, we wanted our security back. We needed that in order to move into another place.
Right. I was just going to ask you, after, when they were forcing y'all to leave, how did like being displaced affect you and your family? Was it just
it affected us really badly. I'll tell you, because we had run into so many problems after we left Hacienda Gardens. We had so many. We got kicked out of a complex. Some other things had happened to us when we lived in the other complex. So
a series of bad events.
Yeah, a lot of bad stuff. Certain things that were happening to us, and so my mother wanted the security back. So did every other normal tenant that was being kicked out, they wanted their security back.
Right.
And rightfully so. My mother wrote up a petition.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, she was challenging Scientology. She was going after them. Now, right before, about two weeks before we finally packed up and moved out, they wanted to meet with my mother in the office. My father was not allowed to be in there. Only my mother they wanted in there with another resident who lived in the complex that we were very close to.
Part of their weirdness.
Exactly. Let me tell you, now picture being a little kid, and there's your dad sitting at the window with a .22 rifle and a box of bullets, saying if he sees one wrong movement, he's shooting.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was super scary. And then I remember how we felt as kids. We were like, damn, this is scary. What the hell? What do they do? They beat you, kill you or something? And, we don't know. We were kids.
Right. It had to have been...
it did. It really affected
traumatic. I mean, besides the SA, the trauma from just living among people that are so, for lack of a better word, crazy.
And I was approached multiple times in Clearwater when I was before we moved back to New York. And we were already out of Hacienda, approached, and people would ask me, where's your mother? Where's your mom? Where's your dad? Where's this one? Where's that one? Is your dad still living with you?
Wow.
Like, what the hell? It's none of your business.
Wow.
By that time, we were told, what goes on in this house stays in this house. You don't tell anybody anything, whether I'm here or not. And my father did come back to New York because he had business here. We were things to do.
And so, like school, did you have regular school, like public school that you went to?
I went to Skycrest Elementary down there, and then we went to Kennedy Middle School, which it's now something totally different. And then we moved here. We went to public school, and
I guess the Scientos didn't send their middle school and high school kids to school. Most of them.
No, not from what I've learned. They don't. But I mean, from what I've heard, there are some that are in public schools.
Yeah, I guess. So many of them talk about their education ending really early, especially I guess maybe the ones that joined the Sea Org. I'm thinking of.
The more of the Sea Org ones, I guess when they joined in, they no longer had to go to school anymore.
Yeah, they didn't need school. Why would they need school?
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
It was crazy. It was very interesting living down there. But like I said, in '96, after seeing these people, oh man, it did something to me. But it also did when I left. It did give me a kind of a closure in a way, because I knew they were miles and miles away. And here on Long Island, there was no Scientology.
Yay.
They just bought property in my county.
When did they do that?
Last March of 2024. They bought property here. $15.2 million they bought a building here.
Wow. And you said it sits empty?
It's empty. There's nothing there.
Is it supposed to be an ideal? Is it supposed to be an ideal org or something?
I have no idea what they're doing with it. The last time I was there, which was not long ago, it's still empty. There's nothing there. They have yet to file for their tax exempt here, 501c3.
Yeah, they'll push
here on the island are a lot different than in a city or a state, because they're dealing with a lot more different types of politicians, so forth, such and such.
Yeah,
you're dealing with a county and a town. You're not dealing with a city.
Oh, they don't care though. They'll
no, but it'll take them forever, because even the building permit was out of date. That was on the door when I went there.
Yeah, Yeah, I've heard
And you have to
happening a lot, and some places they are years behind in paying their taxes. Like I think in Canada they have to pay Canada they have to pay some taxes.
They have to pay property taxes here.
Oh.
Yeah. They have to pay taxes here. I'm telling you that I know. That I know for a fact. And they will have no choice but to maintain that property, because if they don't, they will be slapped with fine after fine after fine. The town it's in is so upper class that you won't even find a stitch of litter on the ground.
Wow.
That's how upper class it is. Yeah, it's a very upper class neighborhood.
Well, I hope there's some tough New Yorkers that get tough with them, you know?
Yeah, because I tell you, everyone that I've spoken to, just here in my neighborhood, people know about it, but some people don't. Like I have a girl that lives, she's fairly young. She's got young children, and we were talking outside last summer, and she mentioned that she was watching something with Leah Remini, and I said, "Oh, you're watching the aftermath." She goes, "Yeah, what is that? Scientology." So I say, "You don't want to be involved. Trust me." And I started giving her a little bit of a very small breakdown. She said, "That's it. I'm not even watching that freaking show. Forget it. I don't even want to know."
Good. Yeah. Well, at least you planted a seed.
Yeah.
And the more seeds,
she's super young, and she's a single mother. So
we need every seed planted we can get.
Yeah.
A
lot of my neighbors here, they've said to me, they were like, "Yeah, I've heard of that stuff. That's nothing but a cult." It's kind of shocking, but there are a lot of people that are like, "What the hell is that? I don't even know what it is. I've never heard of it."
Yeah, it surprises me how many people still haven't really heard. I think a lot of people maybe have heard of it, but they never, like, past that, they know nothing else. They just know that it's kind of weird, but they don't know why. And
it's like they have no clue what it is. And I'm like,
thank goodness for the internet and for the community that is growing. I've been around for almost 2 years, and it has grown exponentially in 2 years,
Yeah, I've been around too. I started watching, the first time I had found it, it actually popped up on my YouTube. What's their names? The couple, they're a couple. The Headleys.
The Headleys.
Yes.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. It said Scientology, and then I was introduced to Mike Rinder and a few others. So I was following them way before I started following anyone else.
Well, now, was Aaron still part of that group when you started watching them?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Yeah. I only really remember a couple of live streams that, like, Mike Rinder had done, God rest his soul. And the Headleys had done with one another.
Yeah.
So, and at that time, I think Leah was starting to do her lawsuits, so she couldn't get involved.
Right.
So I was like, okay. And but yeah, it was pretty crazy that how everything just spiraled. The first protester I had ever seen was Streets
yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
It was a short videos. All of a sudden his short videos started popping up in my feed, and I was like, "Oh, look at this guy." I said, "This is right up my alley," because I grew up in Clearwater, so I know. And so I started following him, and then just now it's just like
right.
Part of me that just doesn't even want to be involved.
Well, yeah, except thank goodness for Eric Rader.
Yes.
Who has who took the lead, took the bull by the horns, and kicked butt And so now I think I can tell a difference just in the past month or so.
Yeah. Almost a month. Yeah.
And it's already gotten it's starting to turn back around.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I feel a lot better about how things are going now. And like I said, if Eric Rader wouldn't have taken the lead, I don't know what would have happened to us. But yeah, so we have good hope for the future. This coming year should be really good.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I hope so, and I get what he's saying with the whole, what's the point? This is $1 billion enterprise. Standing outside screaming and yelling and carrying on is, you're just scaring them people right back into it, threatening them. And
it's just so, what he says is so abusive and mean.
Oh, it's terrible. I don't like it. I wouldn't want someone to talk to me that way. And if I was stuck in a cult and you said those things to me and I can hear you screaming like a lunatic outside and everyone else running up and down the street screaming, I would not want to come out.
No. And
I would want to stay. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, stand there with a sign, say a few things, speak to people, but talk to them like they're still a human.
Yes.
Well, no matter what they believe, that's still a person.
Yes.
And those are still children. Those children don't understand.
Exactly. And acting like that just gives Scientology proof that the people out there in the world are crazy.
Are crazy and they're no good.
They're like, look at him. That's proof.
There you go. They're probably using him as an example. That's look.
They'll get you. Don't leave. There's people like that everywhere. You don't want to leave.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I've yet to hear anybody saying, hey, I left because he said so.
Right. Right.
So allegedly there was, but I highly doubt that.
But what?
Allegedly, somebody said something to him. He was the reason they didn't go, or I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's some sort of a video that was not even there anymore, so who cares?
You know what? I was so, I have to say, I was so appalled and just like sick to my stomach when I saw someone try to put a spell on
children. Yes.
A witch spell, voodoo, I could not believe someone would do that to a child, Oh my gosh.
I could never, I look at a kid and all you see is innocent. They don't know. And you know what the sad thing is too? This child is already going through hell.
Yeah.
And they didn't
ask to be there.
All over. You're writing it all over the place.
Yeah. And they're not there because they chose to be. They're there because their parents are making them be there.
Exactly. It's not their fault that they're there. And to be quite honest with you too, that's the first time I've seen children out since the other one's been gone.
I can't remember seeing
other than like the holiday stuff and the gathering.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing going on in Scientology when those children were running around.
No, I don't know what that was about. Maybe they escaped.
Off limits period. A spell on a child. What the hell? Dawn has no idea. Oh boy.
You didn't see that?
You didn't see that, Dawn? Oh.
It was Witch Share. Witch SHER. She was out at the Blue protesting, or I guess, and two kids walked out and she got into a verbal
over him messing up the chalk. It's a kid.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, it was like running his foot trying to erase.
She told the kids that she was going to.
She was a witch.
That she was a witch, and she was going to put
a spell
a curse or a spell or something on
something like that. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Like, who does that? That's an innocent little kid.
I don't know.
That's what I couldn't understand. That right there, and not for nothing, but if you would have done that here on Long Island, she would have been locked up. She would have been arrested right alongside him. You don't threaten people's children around here.
Yeah. Well, that's just
I couldn't understand that for the life of me. Scientologists are not.
Yeah, no. Kids are innocent. Kids are 100% innocent. Like I said, they didn't ask to be there, you know. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to go over these questions I wrote down, but oh my gosh, there's so many of them. Is there anything? Let's see. Well, it's just a bunch of the same stuff, you know, like yeah, no. I mean, I don't have any really questions. But so since you made your trip there when you were an adult and left, have you ever been back since?
No.
Okay. And
I have family in Florida. They're just not in Clearwater. They're on the other side of Florida.
Right.
So I'm in touch with them, like, you know, Facebook, stuff like that. But I have yet to be back to Florida. I miss Florida, you know, in general. If I ever did go back, it would not be Clearwater that I
excuse me. I want to protest so bad. So, and I'm going to make a trip there. One of these days, I want to do it. You know, we're planning on moving to the West Coast. We're in Jacksonville. We're either going to move to Arizona or Nevada. And before we move, I'm going to make a trip to Clearwater to protest.
There you go. Nice.
I'm just looking for someone to meet me in Clearwater. And I was checking out the Airbnbs the other day, and there's a ton of them, and they're not that expensive at all. Like, you know, 2 people, it'd be cheaper than staying in a hotel for sure. But so I'm going to put the word out there if anybody wants to meet.
Right. Definitely. I know there's tons of people that go out there on Friday nights. You got Dusty, you got Cheryl.
Yeah. Now we got to meet Cheryl and Aaron and Natalie and Jenna and
nice.
In Miami. You know, that's where the cruise ship left from, Miami, and so we went there a day early, and they surprised us and showed up, and then when we got back, Aaron had his daughters down there. But the day we got back, I was so sick, and so I ended up calling a friend of mine in Jacksonville, and they drove down and got me. So I didn't really get to spend that much time with Jenna and Natalie. But it was fun meeting them. Yeah,
that's awesome.
But anyway, since I don't have a mod and I don't know how, does anybody have any questions or anything, you guys? I didn't pay much attention to the chat because I can't do 2 things at once.
There's a few
people in here. Sorry, guys. I have a list because I forgot to put my teeth in. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys.
You're fine. So,
but gosh, Eric's here. Jen Pup Groomer's here. Miss Dawn, Eric, and who else? I want to be sure to call out everybody. You guys, I set up my channel memberships last night.
Oh, you
and
did? Awesome.
Yeah. So I have like 3 levels, and I think I did it right. I don't know. But
Awesome.
so yeah. It's exciting. It took me a little over a year to get 3,000 watch hours, but finally I did. Now I need to hit 4,000. But
Okay.
Fairy in the chat. Hi, Fairy. Hi. Hi to everybody. I'm so thankful and grateful y'all are here.
That's what she said, has a question. So.
Oh, hi. That's what she said.
I think I could put it up there. Hold on.
It's not too hard on you.
No.
At what age were you assaulted? Oh.
The first time I was assaulted, I was 6.
Oh,
and it happened more than once until I was about roughly 8, 9 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was by a Scientologist?
Yeah. Multiple, not just one. There was multiple, including a woman.
Bless your heart. Golly.
So it was pretty I've been in and out of therapy over it, trying to.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
I'm in it more so now. That's why I'm more able to talk about it now.
Right.
Because back then, like when they would try to force me to go into therapy, I wanted no part of it.
Right, because it's embarrassing and shameful, and you have all those emotions.
Humiliating.
You don't know what to do with it, and
yeah. And it was hurtful for me because later on in life I had started having some stomach issues, and I went into the emergency room, and the doctors asked me, "Did someone hurt you when you were little?"
Oh, wow.
And I was kind of taken back, but not really. They had to basically do some relining, and they did say I would never be able to have children.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it was not
it. Bless your heart. Wow.
It's recommended I not have children. It could have done harm to me, or the child possibly not make it. That's how damaging the essay was. That.
Oh my God. And so, didn't you say like you didn't really remember it until you were like in your 20s?
Yeah, so I didn't start to really. Yeah, I blocked it completely out, and then it was explained to me because I questioned things like counselors and stuff, like why am I remembering these things now? And they explained to me that your mind will push things back when something happens to you, like an attack when you're little, you push it away.
Oh,
you remember dribs and drabs is what was explained to me, but you don't remember the full extent of it until one day you do. And it could happen. They said it could happen at any age.
Yeah.
I had a few counselors tell me that I was lucky enough that it happened to me actually early instead of later on in life.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. God, I remembered later, early on in life and not later on.
Oh, I see.
Like not like the age of 50, just starting to remember these things, where it could do a lot more severe mental damage.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Well, that's interesting.
I have a therapist that I work with day and every week. I have therapy with her.
Well, good for you.
She's great, and she really and she's really worked with me on a lot of stuff, and it's helped a lot.
She specializes probably in complex trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important to find someone that knows about that. Have you been, or have any of you guys seen Jenna's? She's been talking to a man named Tim Fletcher.
That name sounds so familiar.
I'm not sure if I know he's some kind of therapist. Okay. But he's been helping her undo a lot of things that she, needs help undoing.
Yeah.
And I think I've watched 4 different sessions that she's had with him, but they are so good. It's
Really?
he has a couple of channels, I think, but the one that Jenna is on is called Talking with. I had it and it just slipped my mind. Talking with Tim. His name's Tim Fletcher, though. So if you type his name in and Jenna's, you'll see. And I recommend everybody watch those because they are so good. And Jenna is so smart. And she's just a little sweetheart, but she is. You can see her brain working and figuring out.
Right.
And then he'll tell her, well, and he'll build on what she says, and it's just a really good series. Like I said, I recommend it.
I'll have to check that out without a doubt, definitely. Because I've actually had my therapist involved. She's married to a woman, and her wife is involved in the Scientology movement, but she can't be. Yeah, she's involved with it.
Wow.
Which is awesome in my eyes.
Awesome. Do we know her from the chats, or?
I'm not allowed to know her name.
Oh, that's what you just said, right?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to know her name, so.
Sorry. Why? Because of conflict of interest or something?
Yeah, and I don't want to get her in any type of show. They just had a baby, and their
that
lives
makes sense. That makes sense.
I would never want to cause them any harm or nothing. They're great.
Oh, yeah.
She's an amazing therapist.
It's a small world, though, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. And she was telling me one day, she's like, "Oh yeah, my wife is involved with that," and I was like, "Oh,
that's wild."
And I didn't even ask the name of her or nothing. I was like, "Yeah, no," because I know the whole HIPAA laws. I know all that stuff. So it's a conflict, and I would not want to get them into any trouble. Good people. So
we've been on here a little over an hour.
Nice.
Yeah, that went good. When I first started this channel, it was to give Never Ends a place to tell their story because, we keep hearing the ex-Scientologists tell their story and we can relate to their stories, but it's so validating to for me to be able to tell my story that I thought, well, us Never Ends need a channel to go to so they can tell their story. So,
yeah, no, exactly.
I did a cut 2 or 3. I think I did only 3, and then I forget what happened. The Aaron thing, leaving the aftermath, and like things started happening. So I just kind of.
It's just been a roller coaster ride with this.
I lost focus on what I was doing, but I decided last week that I really want to get back into having a place for not just Never
that's great.
Not just Never Is, but mainly Never Is, because usually, the ex-Scientologists go to Aaron's or Natalie's or someplace like that, which makes sense because they know the right questions to ask, But so anybody.
We got another question here.
Okay. That's what she said. What do you call yourself? Why do you call yourself a reformed minion? Again, if you don't want to answer, no worries. Yeah, tell us.
Okay, so most people know that I was a part of the whole minion crew, and I was in there. I wasn't an attacker. I never ran over and attacked people. I did say some things.
Everybody know who the minion crew is, though?
Yeah, I don't know. I know most people do.
DOA's crowd. DOA's crowd.
Yeah, there you go.
Chumley's crowd.
There you go.
Sorry, my bad.
So I was involved with that. It was, at first I thought, great, extremely questionable. Not going to lie. There were a lot of things where I was questioning things about him, what he was doing. And I said, all right, so everybody was changing their name. I think Aaron started calling us minions. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be one of these minions. And everybody changed their name.
Hi, Buttercup.
Oh, hi, Buttercup. And so I did. I was Mini Minion 7514. That's why it's always 7514. So
right.
That's my docket number. But yeah. So I was involved with that, and things went south, just like we've been learning how things go and seeing it for our own two eyes. And I had a woman up on my live stream, and we bashed the living shit out of him, and we called him out. And nobody liked it. Yeah, her name was Deb. Deb was great.
Wow.
She was awesome. And we were labeled, of course. There's the whole issue with Crazy Love is Love. And I do have to say I am involved in her organization. It is a legitimate organization. I wouldn't be involved if I wasn't.
Now, I saw one night she got treated really bad by Cultology twins.
Yeah, everybody was so tight in that little clique, group, gang, whatever you want to call them. And they
always turn on each other.
You know what it is too, is the things that he's saying about her organization are completely false. None of it's true. He's dead wrong.
You can't believe anything he says.
For one, he keeps calling it a foundation. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not even a 501c3. It's a 501c4.
Right.
Totally different. Totally different. Basically, it was geared. That's why I had joined up, because I was going to start going to this building and heading out to New York City to protest with Manning 8 and everybody.
Right.
And now that he basically slandered the daylights out of them and bashed the living hell out of this organization, it's no longer geared towards protecting the protesters anymore. It's not. We're doing it the legal way. Everything's being done legally. On my end, I'm doing my part. She's doing hers. I'm doing things for my state. We're concerning ourselves with our own states. We're no longer I'm not bothering with anything else.
Oh.
We're doing it the legal way. And I'm getting far. I have spoken directly with the district attorney. I've done a lot.
Good. Oh, that's right.
This is what people don't seem to understand is, why you ain't doing anything. You ain't doing anything. You don't know what we're doing behind the scenes. In my spare time, I'm doing things. I'm sending emails. I'm messaging Facebook messages, anything I can find these, legislatures on.
Right.
If I don't get an answer, I don't get an answer. I don't harass them. I leave that one thing in there. Eventually they'll see it. They are busy people. And you have to figure too, here on Long Island, we've got so much going on. They just captured a serial killer that they've yet to even begin a trial on, and it's just a lot we have going on here. So for this man to reach out to me was amazing, and like he said, this is my spare time, he's like, I would rather be sleeping, but, and he's actually a very nice guy. I was very impressed.
The DA you're talking about?
I went straight to I said, screw this other chain of command. I'm going right to the heart of it. Right. I'll just talk to him.
Now, didn't you say that he wasn't like real up on how they operate?
Yeah, no, he didn't even know. Not he was one of the ones that was like, he knew of them, but didn't know the extent.
He didn't know their antics.
No, not at all. He had no clue.
You filled him in?
Yeah, I flew them in, all right.
Good.
And I can't bring up anything else that's going on. There are some other things that are going on. I'm keeping it personal because she's been attacked so bad that she goes to board meetings and everything else, city council meetings, this, that, the third, and they're calling them, telling them that she's there to start trouble, and they're asking her not, it's like, come on, we're doing the right thing here. We're not running around getting locked up. We're not getting arrested.
Thank you. What,
26? Who wants to get arrested? I sure as hell don't.
With hate crimes, nonetheless.
Not only that, but here on Long Island's jail, we got a serial killer in there. I really don't want to go there. You know what I mean?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
And it's just, it's insane. And I'm just like, I can't believe that it spiraled the way it did. And, when this whole thing went down, I'm telling you, the things others are saying, like Durant, Dose, Vaughn, it's the truth. And I'm not going to lie. I'm always honest with people. When he first said to everybody, oh, yeah, don't follow, don't listen to Durant or Vaughn, Michelle, and he gave out the name, I went right away and I looked at I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Well, you can't stop me. I'm listening to whoever I want to. Do whatever I want. This is part of being in a free country. You do what you please.
It's not a cult.
I was just going to say, we're not in a cult. As far as I know, we're not in a cult. And then, so I was listening and I was reading some stuff to Durant, and Vaughn hadn't been around for a while, and all of a sudden she popped up. As I'm listening and looking, and I'm going, yeah, he's doing this to people because, like take, for instance, Crazy Love is Love. She was getting money. People were donating to this organization. They were doing things. And to her personally, everybody was she was monetized. And when he attacked her like that, that was dead wrong of him to do that. And that's why the other one and I got up on a live stream and we called him out on it. And of course, everybody in there was on his side. So
of course.
We were the bad guys in this whole thing. And I was this, that. And they're all blaming her for what I'm doing. She ain't got, nobody can control me other than me. I control me, no one else.
Yeah.
So it just makes
I get it. Yeah.
It really destroyed a lot, and it's sad because, say for instance, Pup Groomer's in here. Say for instance, she's out there protesting. They do arrest her. We can't protect her anymore.
Well, don't you think that will turn around eventually?
I hope so.
Yeah. We'll get it back. We're off to a good start, like I said, and Eric put us on a good path, and we know what we were supposed to do now, and and you know what?
Yeah, Pup Groomer commented. She said the direction changed.
Yes.
From sorting protesters to changing and creating new legislation. And that's what we're doing. So we're making moves, we're doing our thing, and let me tell you something, we're getting a lot further than anybody standing outside with a sign screaming and yelling and carrying on and getting locked up.
Right.
What are you doing? The only thing you're doing is begging people for money. We ain't asking for a penny.
I know.
I ain't asking anybody for money. I don't want no money.
So sickening. Ugh.
The only thing I do ask, if anybody's on my page, I did post some stuff for the cat sanctuary. We have gotten a great deal of donations. If you want, there's certain things up there you can donate. It doesn't even go through me. It doesn't.
Tell the people what happened, because there's more people here now. Tell them what happened real quick.
Yeah. So yesterday morning, my phone was blowing up and I couldn't figure out why people were calling me. We had a major cat rescuer who had a sanctuary. He's called Happy Cat Sanctuary. He has a YouTube channel. His place went up in fire. He died. I'm going to cry because I personally know this guy, and lost a great deal of cats, passed away. He devoted his life rescuing cats. His son died in a accidental motorcycle accident when he was 24. And when Chris went out one day, he found a litter of kittens that were sick, and he nursed them all back to health. So then he created and devoted, like, this man nothing went to him. Anything he made, found, whatever, all went to these animals. He devoted his life to these animals. it's under major investigation right now because it is being investigated for arson. He was getting hate. People were hating on him. People were, it was a lot of bullying. Long Island's a lot different than, New York is different from other states. Like, these are real life things that happen to us here. No one made a threat and to eat their cat. These cats were killed. Pretty much murdered. So far as we know, there's suspicion of a space heater. He didn't use those types of things. Kerosene heaters. He didn't use that type of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. It's going to be an ongoing investigation. Like I said, there's tons of stuff posted on my post. So
on your community.
I'm on standby right now for to be a foster. Some of the surviving cats are they need medical assistance first. They're being once they're medically cleared, they're gonna be searching for fosters. It's been out all over Facebook. Like, I mean, every single person. I got like 1,500 people on my Facebook, and almost everybody's posting about this. So it's
good.
Well, we took this is horrible for Long Island right now. He was major with our feral communities. He was major.
Wow. Yeah.
This is a big loss. He was in the process of moving him and his cats upstate.
How old was he? Older man?
62.
Oh my gosh, that's my age. Oh, so young.
Sweetest guy you'll ever meet in your life.
It is young, really. 62 to die.
That's like, damn. And he devoted his whole life to rescuing these cats and giving them this beautiful. And when you went there, it was immaculate. The place was clean. The SPCA had been there multiple times because, of course, people called on him. And they do surprise visits. And when they would go there, they're like, yo, this guy's got all these permits. He's legit. And the place is clean. These cats are happy. They're healthy. On a surprise visit, usually, there's something out of array when a surprise visit comes around. But no, nothing. He always maintained them animals like you would not believe.
What's the population of Long Island?
People?
Yeah. I mean, about. That's okay. If you don't know. I can look it up sometime.
I'm not sure. We've got a decent population. It's very Long Island's weird because, like, when they say it's a small world, that's the Long Island description. Because you can, like, I'll be talking here to you about this, and someone's talking about it in the city, and they know me, or you know what I mean. It's like everyone knows everyone.
Right.
It's very. I don't know how you say it. This is the suburbs. This is suburbia. And you got the city. I live in the south Long Island. So I'm in the hood area.
I've been to most of the states, the contiguous ones, and I've been to Hawaii. But New York and the New England states are ones that I missed. I went to Pennsylvania, but that's as far north as I got, I think. And
I tell you, all weather here is changing big time. Like, it's chilly out right now, but we don't get a lot of snow anymore. We used to get 2-3 feet of snow.
Yeah.
This winter alone, altogether, I think we got 2 or 3 inches altogether. We hardly got anything. Maybe almost a foot. Who knows? You know what I mean? It was, but it was gone within a day or two.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't get snow like we used to.
They're getting it other places, though.
I know that it's going south now.
Yeah.
People are not going to retire to Florida anymore. They're going to retire to New York because of
right.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah,
but Jen says there wouldn't be a reason to arrest her because she makes sure that she's not breaking any laws by using her common sense.
I was just using her as an example. I know she's great. She knows what she's doing, and it's like I am. I'm independent. I'm not in a group. I'm not in a gang. No,
Yeah.
I'm an independent protester.
Right.
And I'm doing it the legal way. I'm not
they
doing it any other way. That's really not, it's not like LA here. You know, we got an empty building 2.5 hours away from me. You got the city, but even in the city, people are so aware of it.
That's good.
You know?
That's good. Good.
And it gets, you know, it does get cold, so no one wants to be standing out there in the freezing cold. No one wants to be standing out there in the freezing cold.
I lived in the snow. I lived in Missouri for 5 years in the early 90s after I left my ex-husband. Moved from Las Vegas to Missouri.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a culture shock.
I was just going to say that.
I can't drive in the snow, so I don't like living in the snow.
Driving in the snow is bad. You need good tires to drive in the snow.
Plus, now that I'm in a wheelchair, it wouldn't be fun trying to get around, you know.
Yeah.
In a wheelchair. So my sister lives in Colorado, and I keep threatening to go move in with her because, you know, me and my ex-husband get along like cats and dogs. And but I don't think I could do the snow. I really don't.
Snow can get bad. I mean, it can be decent, but it can also be very vicious. Snow. I have my grandfather back in I believe the 60s or the 50s. He was in a vicious accident, and it was after a blizzard.
Oh, wow.
And he was in the middle seat, and the accident, it was like one of the worst accidents that had ever happened here on Long Island, and it's always still has been, like no one's broken that type.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and he had a tracheotomy. He was in a coma. Right before he passed, he actually was talking about things that he remembered from the coma.
Wow, that's wild.
It was really wild. My aunt was telling me. She was like, "Wow, that was something that happened when you were in a coma. How do you remember that?"
Wow. You know what I have been seeing lately is kids that can't talk. What do they call them? Or they call them voiceless or
nonverbal.
Yeah, something like that. But they, with their parents, they do mental telepathy so well. And it's all stuff, and most of them are autistic. And but like I've been watching different things about the nonverbal children and telepathy, and it is mind-blowing, you know. Yeah, Eric has high. Yeah, I remember you saying that, Eric. I heard you on I heard you the first time I heard Eric was on, what's her name?
Tori.
Huh?
On Tori's live stream?
No, it was on oh shoot. One of Reese's old mods, Mental Health Matters. What's her name, you guys? Eric, what's her name? Okay. Mental Health Matters. Not Miss Kim.
Yeah, he goes on Miss Kim once in a while too.
Yeah. I haven't been there in a little while. A lot of time. Yeah, Keela. That's where I first heard you, Eric. But I lurk a lot. A whole lot.
Sometimes I do too. I sit in the back.
Yeah, Keela did.
And then I listen to what everyone said, and I make my decision. Actually, that's how I always sat in the back. Even when I was young, I'd sit in the back and listen to everything that's going on. Yeah, okay. You know, and then I make my decision on where I want to go, what I want to say and do. And
I usually just go in there and get right involved and talk too much and tell too much. I ended up getting in trouble.
Yeah, right.
I would be better off if I would just quietly sit in the back and listen for a while.
Yeah.
You know? That's not my personality. I'm a loud Texan.
There you go.
Anyway, okay, you guys, this was great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. If anybody wants to tell their story, I'd love to do like at least 2 people a week.
Oh, good.
But really, three people, it would be better. Yeah. So anybody can email me. If I knew how to put things like links in the chat, I would do that. I need to get a mod for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Now that I am moving up in the world,
there you go,
in the YouTube world. Oh, I'm joking. But Eric, I'll try to actually, Eric, why don't you email me? It's my name, Kelli. You can see my name up there, and it's Kelli SPTV@gmail. It's so easy. And okay, you can tell your story. You can be next for sure.
Oh, good, Eric, great.
So here I can write. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, it might let me since I'm the. Oops. Oh, there's my email address.
There you go.
I guess since it's my channel, it's letting me.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
As long as you're on the comments, you're good to go.
Okay, you guys. I love this community. The nice people in it.
Yes,
I have
the nice ones.
by saying that. I need to quit saying that, but I just like to rub it in sometimes. I'm terrible.
I hear you.
Thank you so much, Miss Minnie. And I just, like I said, I love this community. And thank you guys for stopping by. This was great. And you stay here. I want to tell you something real quick.
You got it.
About the cat sanctuary. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye, everybody.